The galaxy was a tapestry of stars, each one a beacon of hope or despair depending on who gazed upon it. For centuries, humanity had been confined to its cradle, Earth, a fragile blue orb teetering on the edge of collapse. But then came the Empire, an interstellar juggernaut that spanned thousands of worlds, ruled by iron fists and cold logic. When their emissaries arrived in orbit above Earth, they delivered a single ultimatum: submit to their dominion or face annihilation. Humanity's leaders trembled. Their armies were outdated relics compared to the Empire's sleek warships and plasma cannons. Negotiations were futile. Surrender seemed inevitable. Yet amidst this chaos stood Dr. Amara Voss, a scientist turned rebel leader whose defiance would change the course of history. Amara wasn't born a warrior. She was once a quiet astrophysicist, her life consumed by equations and star charts. But when the Empire's fleet descended like vultures circling prey, something inside her snapped. She couldn't stand idly by while billions cowered under the shadow of oppression. Armed with intellect sharper than any blade, she rallied those who refused to kneel. Her plan was audacious, bordering on suicidal. The Empire's might was unmatched, but Amara knew their strength lay in brute force, not subtlety. They underestimated Earth, dismissing it as a primitive backwater unworthy of respect. That arrogance would be their undoing. Deep beneath the ruins of what was once New York City, Amara gathered her team. Among them were engineers, hackers, soldiers, and even former criminals, all united by desperation and a shared dream of freedom. Together, they worked tirelessly on Project Eclipse, a weapon unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It wasn't built to destroy ships or level cities. It targeted something far more precious: the Empire's hubris. "We're not fighting for revenge," Amara declared during one of their late-night strategy sessions. Her voice echoed through the dimly lit bunker, steady and resolute. "We're fighting for survival, for dignity. If we win, we don't just save ourselves, we prove that no empire is invincible." Months passed, and the Empire grew impatient. Their dreadnoughts loomed ominously in Earth's skies, blotting out the sun. Cities burned as orbital bombardments tested humanity's resolve. Refugees fled to underground shelters, clinging to scraps of hope. Rumors spread of a resistance led by a woman known only as the Architect. Some dismissed her as myth. Others whispered prayers in her name. Meanwhile, Amara finalized preparations for Eclipse. The device was small enough to fit inside a standard cargo drone, yet its potential impact was catastrophic. Instead of physical destruction, Eclipse exploited a flaw in the Empire's neural network, a vast artificial intelligence system that governed every aspect of their society. By infiltrating the network, Eclipse could overload it, causing cascading failures across the Empire's infrastructure. Communication grids would collapse, supply chains would shatter, entire fleets would be left adrift in the void. But there was a catch. To deploy Eclipse, someone would have to pilot the drone directly into the heart of the Empire's flagship, the Obsidian Throne, a fortress bristling with weapons and guarded by legions of elite troops. It was a suicide mission, and Amara insisted on going herself. "You can't do this alone," protested Ravi, her second-in-command and closest friend. His dark eyes burned with frustration. "There has to be another way." "There isn't," Amara replied calmly. She adjusted the straps of her flight suit, her hands steady despite the weight of what lay ahead. "This is my responsibility. I designed Eclipse. I know how it works better than anyone. And if I die, at least I'll die knowing I gave humanity a fighting chance." Ravi opened his mouth to argue further, but the look in Amara's eyes silenced him. There was no fear. There, only determination. He nodded reluctantly, understanding that some battles required sacrifices. The night before the mission, Amara stood atop a crumbling skyscraper, gazing up at the stars obscured by the Empire's blockade. The air smelled of ash and despair, but she found solace in the distant twinkle of light beyond the horizon. Somewhere out there was a universe waiting to be reclaimed. She thought about her parents, long gone now, and the life she might have lived if fate hadn't intervened. But regret had no place in her heart tonight. All that mattered was tomorrow. As dawn broke, Amara boarded the drone alongside a skeleton crew of volunteers. They launched from a hidden silo, streaking toward the heavens like a comet defying gravity. The Empire's sensors detected them almost immediately, and within minutes, swarms of fighters descended to intercept. "Stay focused," Amara commanded over the comm channel, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Remember the plan. We only need one shot." The battle raged around them, a symphony of explosions and screams. Shields flickered as enemy fire pounded the drone's hull. One by one, the volunteers fell, their voices fading into static. Yet Amara pressed on, her fingers flying across the controls as she navigated the gauntlet. Finally, they reached the obsidian throne. Its sheer size was overwhelming, a monolith of power and tyranny. Amara activated the cloaking device, slipping, past the outer defenses. Inside, the corridors were eerily silent, lined with pulsating conduits that hummed with energy. She moved quickly, her breath shallow but controlled. Then came the moment of truth. Deep within the flagship's core, Amara connected Eclipse to the neural network. A surge of data flooded the interface, and alarms blared throughout the ship. Imperial soldiers stormed the chamber, but it was too late. Amara initiated the sequence, her lips curling into a faint smile. "This is for everyone you've ever oppressed," she whispered as the countdown began. The explosion wasn't visible. It didn't need to be. Across the galaxy, the Empire's systems faltered and failed. Ships drifted powerless in space. Planets plunged into darkness as power grids collapsed. Panic rippled through the ranks, and for the first time in centuries, the Empire blinked. Back on Earth, people emerged from their shelters to witness the impossible. The massive dreadnoughts that had haunted their skies were retreating, their crews abandoning posts in disarray. Cheers erupted in the streets, a cacophony of joy and disbelief. Humanity had won, not through brute strength, but through ingenuity and courage. Amara's name became legend. Though she perished aboard the obsidian throne, her sacrifice ignited a spark that could never be extinguished. In the years that followed, Earth rebuilt itself, forging alliances with other oppressed worlds. Together, they formed a new coalition, united by the belief that no empire should rule unchecked. And so the stars once again belonged to the dreamers, the rebels, and the brave. No fear, no mercy, only the unyielding spirit of those who dared to defy the odds.